Yo, what is going on, homies? It's your boy Stump back for another OPTC video, and in today's video, we're up to episode 8, I think, of new units, old content, and in today's video, we're going to be spinning some wheels to pick out some legends that we'll be taking on some old content with. Now, if you guys don't know what this series is about, basically what I'm doing is I'm going back in time, taking a look at some of the older content in the game, and utilizing some of the newer legends and sort of just like showing off what the power creep has provided. Now, as always in these videos, I do like to start with a Marco team, provided you can use Marco, obviously, as well as a Chopper team. Now, for Colosseums, Chopper is amazing because he can dupe cotton candy drops, and that's the best place for you to pick up cotton candy. And Marco, he's a great XP captain, so farming out these older legends, these older units with Marco can get you a lot more XP gains and sort of maximize your gains when you are doing this excessive farming, or this farming sort of bolster your account anyway. Now, why would you farm these older units, right? Well, with level limit break in the game, getting everything to level 150 is an amazing power creep. Now, I don't recommend you getting everything to level 150, however, having characters available to get to level 150 if you need them is very, very valuable. Now, I do want to make some notable mentions of stuff like Colosseum Page 1, which is great for something like Grand Voyage. Colosseum Neptune, which is the last one, if you guys want to check that out. I'll leave the playlist in the description below. They were very, very good for stuff like Grand Voyage. Now, with content moving forward, getting these free-to-play characters level 150, while it's a lot of investment, can help you clear some of the harder pieces of content that you might be struggling with. So if you're enjoying these kind of videos, make sure to belt the like button. If you're new to the channel or you haven't done so already, hit that big red subscribe button. But with that said, let's spin some wheels. Alright, so as you can see here, we have all of the legends from Whitebeard and Roger and V2 Straw Hat Crew all the way down to Shanks and Lucky Man as of the recent release. However, I haven't included Chopper, I haven't included Marco on this wheel because obviously we use them for pretty much every single video. And if we land on them, we already have the team available. So, let's spin a wheel, let's find out what we're going to get. If it gives us a quicker Asai unit, I would be really, really interested. Super Tandem Lore. We've already done Super Tandem Lore for this series. What we might do is we might start removing legends if we actually get them already. But look, we're gonna spin again. We're gonna spin again. If it doesn't land on, if it lands on another character we've already used, we might use Lore again. But I do really want to use. Okay. Interesting. Very interesting. Look at that. Super Tandem Shanks. That is the new Shanks. As you can see, he's next to Lucky Man. So we will use Shanks, and because we landed on a quick unit, I'm actually going to take on CP-9. CP-9 has a restriction. You can only bring Psi or quick units. So because we have a quick unit, and because Marco's a thing, we're actually going to take on CP-9, which means we won't have a Chopper team. So I do apologize about that. However, let's take a look at what the challenge team is going to be today. Alright, so we've got our challenge wheel here. Now, I have sort of made the challenges a little bit harder. Challenges lately have been a little bit, like, not easy mode, but they haven't been super, super challenging. So, the challenges we have are free-to-play team with a friend captain legend. Obviously, this is new units, old content, so we do want to bring in newer legends. Free-to-play subs, so we bring our own legend with free-to-play subs. No supports, no legends, a 4-man team, 5-man class-based team, a 5-man color-based team, no super type or super class, like legend captains, no dual units, or a themed team. So, like, we make the theme, I don't know, Baroque works, or we make the team like Don Quixote family, you know, something like that. So, let's spin the wheel, let's see what we get to take on CP-9. It's gonna be a... kind of hoping for a theme team. Free-to-play team. Man, goddamn. Well, we're gonna have to put together a free-to-play team, but we can use a legend friend captain, so that's gonna be interesting. So, let's get to team building, and I'll see you guys in the content. Alright, so as always, we're going to start it off with the double Marco team. So that's the team, those are the supports. Let's dive on in. Now with CP9, they have an intrusion as well as the raid. So the three teams that you guys will see, I will do the raid and then I'll also do the intrusion. So it's kind of good that Chopper's not in this video because the video would go for like a day. So I do apologize about the long video, but I do know a lot of people have been asking for this one. And obviously, it is very selective because you have to bring Psi and quick units. They're the only characters you can bring. I tried to make the teams as quick as possible, but obviously, we do have that challenge free-to-play team at the end. So that obviously did require a little bit of stalling. So, double Marco managed to get it done fairly nicely. The raid, we actually need to stall one turn against Lucci. And other than that, like, that was pretty much all we needed to stall. With this particular event, it is tailor-made for Shanks crew. Shanks crew was just an absolute demon at it with the special bind removal. It has a lot of chain coefficient reduction, as you guys can see. So his chain locking ability was very, very valuable. He was just, like, Shanks crew was just an absolute goat for this content. So I'll leave a link in the description for some of the older teams that I was using for this, which all include stuff like Shanks crew, but obviously they include a lot of older legends as well, and a lot of legends that you probably won't see in today's video. However, like, Robbie, she's a treasure map unit. Pick her up from the treasure map. She's so good for this particular event. And Luffy and Law. I found Luffy and Law to be absolutely awesome for this particular event as well. They're a fighter unit. And they're a quick unit because this whole, like, content is sort of based around strength enemies. Quick teams work very, very well. Now, you can obviously guess, like we rolled Shanks for our new legend, so it's just absolutely beautiful. So we are focusing on Shanks, even though, like, we're not utilizing Shanks crew, because, like, Shanks was sort of built for this particular fight, so it works pretty nicely. Now, on this stage against Lucci, this is where we had to stall the one turn because of his one turn of resilience. Ideally, I would pop one of the Marco specials right here. I sort of just was flying through this and totally forgot that you actually had the chain coefficient reduction on the final stage, or you get it at the start, so you still have it. So if you pop a Marco special there, you get the clock buff. You pretty much kill with the Marco special too, because there's no normal attacks only, hence why Shanks crew being so good for this. And then you can actually get the chain boost on this particular stage against Spandam and those lackeys. You have a lot of, like, wave clearing shenanigans here as well with your Marco superclass, your Marco special, and the special of Luffy and Law. So you won't have any issues taking out those units in the back just by popping out those types of specials. And then, like, with all of that extra damage, you can easily take out Spandam. I have the ace support on Marco, just in case I needed some orbs, mainly for the intrusion, not really for the raid. As you guys all saw there, getting the matching orbs thanks to Don Jin Jiao on our quick units through block orbs is very, very easy. And then with Luffy and Law, they can actually give themselves a matching orb with their switch ability. So there you guys go. That was the raid. We're going to move into the intrusion now, which you can get by doing the 60 stamina event. Alright, so we've been ambushed. The intrusion battle is here, and obviously you have to go from, like, one to the other, so you do need to tailor-make the team around both pieces of content. And I do think this is why people struggled with this content, especially early on. However, there's some very, very good units that can take it on. Stuff like Okiku, Rare Recruit, Komurasaki, Shanks crew. Robbie was just an absolute demon for this fight as well. So there's a lot of very good units, older units you could use. But with the newer, like, units and the power creep moving forward, it's not exactly hard to team build for this particular event anymore. Now, on turn 1, you get 10 turns of Special Bind. Now, this is where Shanks crew was so freaking good, because he could just get rid of that just by being your captain, which is absolutely awesome. But double Marco gives us more XP with the host ship as well. We are struggling to hit perfects as well, so just be mindful of that. However, to get this done really wasn't too challenging. It just took a little bit of time to sort of finesse the team, because you have to do obviously both fights. So we pop Marco Superclass on turn 1, so that way we can use his auto trigger to take out stage 2 and not have to worry about those pesky barriers, because you get, like, a weird orb roll. As you guys see, we got, like, bomb orbs, and we got all this other, like, shenanigan stuff. So we just rely on Marco to just get through those barriers and just say goodbye to that. Now, Luffy and Law are immune to special binds, and with their switch, you can actually go through defensive effects. Now, with Marco and his chain boost, we can take out 2 of the CP-9 units on turn 3, and we don't have to worry about that 99 turns of damage reduction that Bluno puts up, because he's on a 4-turn cooldown, and we can actually utilize this to get rid of the special bind on our Don Jin Jiao. Once you hit the 1 turn of special bind on Don Jin Jiao, you can basically take out Bluno, and we really only have to stall, like, what, 1 turn here, maybe 2, and that way we're pretty much just hunky-dory for the rest of the fight. I think we had to stall 1 more turn on the next turn, just because we didn't have enough damage output to take out this particular stage, but nevertheless, it didn't matter too much, because you're really not taking, like, that much damage at all. Once we do hit this CP9 stage, like Lucci and Kaku, Jabra, and Caulifla, Jabra puts up 99 turns or 98 turns of defense up. But if you kill Jabra, it actually goes away, which is awesome. So what you can do here is just pop the Marco special to kill Jabra and get around the special bind thanks to Don Jin Jiao. However, you do get a full board of empty orbs, and I would have loved to have had something like Uso, 20th anniversary Usopp. I'm not sure if 20th anniversary Usopp goes on Robin. If it does, if he does, it's probably a little bit of a better support than Crocodile. Just so that way you could easily take out this particular stage. I do think you'll have enough damage on the final stage to... I don't think actually 20th anniversary Usopp does. He does. Okay, so you could easily use that 20th anniversary Usopp on Robin. However, I do think that it'll probably trigger early actually with that annoying orb roll as well. So that probably actually won't work. Yeah, actually, it won't work because that annoyed trigger earlier. But once you hit the final stage against Spandam, he has 1 turn of damage reduction. He gives you 3 turns of paralysis, and this is why Orobi is so good for this stage, because like she can remove all of that. You have Marco for an attack boost, and then you can actually use Luffy and Law for an orb boost, which works out great. Now, as you guys will see here, if you have that ace support, you can guarantee 2 matching orbs on your bottom row. And then with Luffy and Law, they can guarantee themselves a matching orb with the switch ability, which is great. Once you do kill Spandam, though, he does come back. He wipes away all your cumulative buffs. He hits you with Red Haki, and he puts up 2 turns of Despair, and then gives you 2 turns of Chain Coefficient reduction. So this is where the Crocodile support was great, because you get Chain Boundary, and then you can just use Rayleigh, because we're running a full fighter team, to give us an attack and an orb buff. And then with the Opera support, you can get around the Despair. Opera's a free-to-play character. Pick him up from the Colosseum if you guys need to do that as well. And then as you guys saw there, we had plenty of damage to take out Spandam. So that is the double Marco team, getting it done for a lot of XP, and actually does it fairly fast as well. Like, that run was fairly quick. So let's move on to the next 2 teams now. We have the Wheel team, and then we also have the Challenge team. Alright, so the Wheel spun my boy, Super Tandem Shanks. So you bet your ass we are building a mono quick team to take on both the Raid and the Intrusion. So that was the team. Those are the supports. Let's dive in. Now, obviously, this content is just built around, like, strength units. So even, like, with Shanks' super type not being, like, able to change anyone's types, like, Shanks is still going to be, like, an absolute demon here because he, like, if you activate his super type, he's a 6 times captain. Yes, a 6 times captain when you are versing strength enemies, which this whole content is, so he's going to shine nicely. Carrot and Wonder is an absolute demon of a sub for this particular guy, because not only are they a quick unit, but they can also just give cooldowns, which is very, very good. So we prop them on turn 1, and that way we just store 1 turn, so that way we just get a little bit of cooldowns. I don't know if we actually need to do that, per se. However, I did, just because, like, I did want to try and get through this without, like, having too many hiccups. And obviously, when you are doing, like, an Intrusion and a Raid, it's very hard to get the no-stall done for both of them. But the Raid's not that challenging. The Intrusion is definitely the harder of the 2. But like I said, if you bring Shanks as a friend captain, you can pretty much just tear through it. But the whole point of this is, like, new units, old content. So, I did want to try and, like, get as much done with some newer characters as possible. So, on turn 3, we can use Carrot and Wonder once again. They are going to set the defense to 0. But we just use Luffy and Law to just kill here. The idea of Carrot and Wonder is just to get the cooldowns ready for Luffy and Law, so that way we can actually just get their special ready to go and pop it on that turn, just to just wave clear and make it an easy clap. Once we hit the next stage, we come up against Lucci, and against Lucci, he has that very annoying resilience. We activate a super type here, but I probably should have done that, like, before, like, when I used the Shanks special. However, I don't think it mattered too much, but you could probably use, like, the what's it called, ship here, what's the one that does end of turn damage? The Don Krieg ship. The Dreadnought Saber. You could use that probably here to just, like, kill, and that way you don't have to stall the 1 turn. Because we have all our specials ready to go here. You could activate a Shank special there, get the Super Tandem, and absolutely blitz this particular stage. However, that ship's so annoying to use, and it doesn't give any buff, so I didn't really want to do that, but nevertheless, you definitely can use it as an option to get around that resilience stage if you really want to, if you are trying this particular team. For whatever reason, but this is obviously just to showcase the new units versus, like, old content. If you were going to be farming this, I would highly recommend doing the Marco team if you could actually put that team together. So, on the final stage against Spandam and his lackeys, they're going to give you Bind and Despair. Once again, we have Rayleigh or Corazon on our Luffy and Law, and that is just going to absolutely decimate that particular stage nice and easy. And then as you can see here, we literally just have Shanks' special. We have Yukimaru. He's going to, like, pop up a little bit later. He's a great option if you don't have Orobi. But he also has the Smoker support on him. So that way you can actually get an attack and an orb boost. Sorry, an attack boost for your quick units. But you also have Carrot and Wonder for... Or you can't use Carrot and Wonder because we've already used them twice. But you also have Vivi and Rebecca for an attack and orb boost. Only for your Cerebral units. So that was the Shanks team. He does it very, very nicely. Obviously being... a quick-centric captain, but also, like, one of the newest Super Sugos as well for some pretty old content. Let's move on to the Intrusion now. Alright, so onto the ambush against Spandam, and Shanks is pretty much just built for, not this particular fight, but, like, whenever strength content comes around, Shanks is always going to be, like, your first go-to unit. Him or Super Tandem Law. The combination of those 2 units is just absolutely nutty. Now, on turn 1, when you get the 10 turns of Special Bind, for this particular team, to get around most of it, we have Vivi and Rebecca. Now, Vivi and Rebecca are great because when you use their switch ability, they can just remove Special Bind on themselves completely. I think they remove 6 turns, so you do have to sort of get down to that 6-turn threshold. And we will utilize that on a stage where it's actually going to be beneficial for us. But we do have to get through 4 turns before we can actually get there. Now, we do have a lot of barrier pen with this particular team, which is awesome. You can utilize Luffy and Law's switch ability to go through barriers as well. But with Current Wonder, with Shanks, like, we had enough there. And we actually got a Tandem Orb, so I just utilized Shanks' crazy super tandem ability, giving that 2.5 times attack boost to our quick units, which is absolutely insane if you have that with a friend captain or your own. He's so good if you have that super tandem max. However, maxing him is just a bit of a yikes, because he's not exactly the most desirable Super Sugo that is going around. Once we hit the Fukaboshi, Bluno, and I cannot remember the zipper guy's name, this is where we're actually going to basically just tear through this stage, because we still need to get our cooldowns down for Vivi and Rebecca. Unfortunately, getting around the special bind is one thing, but getting the cooldowns for said unit to do so, that's another. But lucky for us, Bluno has a 4-turn cooldown, and we can actually use him here to just like stall out 1 turn, and then that way we can actually stall out the 2nd turn. Once Vivi and Rebecca hit that 2-turn cooldown, that's when we can move on to the next stage. The thing with Special Bind is it goes down on your... I didn't need to do that, so I don't know why I did. The thing with Special Bind, it goes down on the regular counter of turns. However, Special Charge of your characters is actually affected by preemptives. So you can get Vivi and Rebecca a little bit quicker than what the Special Bind is, and that's a big reason why I wanted to bring them. Plus, they're very good for this particular stage, because they're going to give our Cerebral characters an attack and an Orb boost. We have 5 Cerebral characters on this particular team, if you are in Law's form. So it works very, very nicely. You can actually use Luffy and Law here as well. They can just absolutely destroy Jabberwock, remove that defense up, and then you can get the attack boost, thanks to Vivi and Rebecca. Shanks, you can activate one of his specials here as well if you really want to. It just gives you a lot of extra damage, because you actually don't need both Shanks specials on the final stage, because if you have, well, what you see with my Current Wonder, if you have them level limit break expanded at max special, they give themselves enough cooldowns to re-trigger their special the 2nd time. So on the revive, you can actually pop their special once again, and it's actually pretty nutty what you can actually do. To get around the paralysis and the damage reduction for this particular team, we have Gukimaru. Gukimaru is going to make all orbs beneficial to our quick units as well. And then with Smoker, we actually get an attack buff as well. Current One to give us the orb boost. We can activate our super, what's it called? Our super type, so that way we're a 6 times captain. And then we can just absolutely decimate this stage thanks to the super tandem of Shanks. Now, I actually had a tandem orb on my Luffy, which worked quite nicely, but if you put Luffy in the bottom right, you're gonna guarantee a tandem orb on them anyway. Just my orb, like my positioning of my units wasn't exactly great for this stage. However, it didn't matter. It's not going to matter anyway, because you can have the Shanks special on the revive to actually get another tandem orb as well. Now, this special and the new Luffy special are by far my favorite specials in the entire game. I love, like both of these specials are so goddamn good, and I do love what they've done with the specials. I just wish they did a little bit more with the actual characters. So, it feels like a lot of resources were sort of put into the characters' specials and the arts and stuff, rather than what the actual character does. So, it is what it is. With Yasop, we can get around the Despair on the revive, and then with the Super Tandem, we can absolutely decimate Spandom. So there you guys go. That was double Shanks. That was a lot of fun, actually, using my boy to take down Ambush CP-9. Let's move on to the challenge team now, which was actually a free-to-play team, which Shanks will actually appear in once again. Alright, so onto the challenge team now. We had to run a full free-to-play team. So this is the team. Those are the supports. Let's dive on in. Now, I did want to obviously bring a new legend, because this is like new units, old content. And I wanted to try and bring as many like newer free-to-play characters as possible. So I actually put this team together utilizing Super Sugo Shanks, because I do have a Super Tandem level 5, with Uta as my captain. That's going to activate the Super Tandem and the Super type of Shanks. And she's obviously a quick base captain. However, I did need to stall a little bit, so I'm going to fast forward to stage 3 here, and we'll go from there. Alright, so we're over here on stage 3 against like the Giants and the Lackeys. They put up 5 turns of defense up, and they give us a full bot of block orbs. Now, I have no idea what I was doing here. I don't know why I just attacked with Robin. It might have been an accident. I might have like mistapped. But you didn't need to take all that damage. So I don't know why I did, but nevertheless, it doesn't matter too much. So we activate the Sea Monster special here. He's going to just clear the units in the front, because they don't have a lot of HP. And then we can use Shanks' special to give us the Tandem Orbs on the right-hand side, which we do want to hang on to. We do want to keep that Tandem Orb on our Uta, and that way we can just decimate these guys right here. I think we stalled 1 turn to get the defense down, maybe, but I feel like you're going to have enough damage to sort of... Maybe you don't. Maybe the defense up was so strong that that's why I had to stall the 1 turn. so the sea monster would remove all the defense up. Maybe that was the case. I honestly cannot remember, but I feel like that was probably it. On the Lucci stage, he has 1 turn of resilience, which is a little bit annoying to get around. But what we can do here is we can use Perispero special to do end of turn damage and lock our orbs for 3 turns, which is absolutely monstrous because now we basically keep that tandem orb on our Uta and we can just abuse the super tandem ability of Shanks as well, which is very, very fun. Like, it's actually really, really fun. On the final stage, we get 2 turns of Bind and Despair on our captains. This is where the Straw Hat crew support on Robin is very, very good. And that is actually just going to remove that. I wish that support came back. I think this particular event, maybe it was a different event, this is where you actually got that. So I really hope that they do bring that support back in the future because it is so good for stuff like Robin units, Frankie units, Brook units, all those types of units. It works absolutely insane for. Now, as you guys will see here, I did some like switching of characters, but nevertheless, you don't have to be honest. You still have the chain lock from Perispero as well, which is great. And on the final stage, you get the extra damage from the chain boost as well. And you can just kill this lackey in the back there. But you can focus all your attacks on Spandam, kill him, and then just worry about the units in the back after that. So that was the free-to-play team against the the raid. It's fairly easy, the raid. It's the intrusion that gives you a little bit of challenge, a little bit of trouble. So let's move on to that. Alright, so here we are against the ambush with the free-to-play team. Again, we're going to have to stall for our specials because it's a free-to-play team. That's sort of what you have to do. But I will include actually the entire intrusion for this particular fight because it's a bit of an intricate one. Now, obviously, we get the 10 turns of special binds. And it's a big reason why we bought Donjin Zhao on this particular team as well. He's an event character. He came out around the time of Dofi and Superclass Katakuri's release. So make sure to pick him up if you're missing him. He's a very, very good free-to-play character. He's basically on this team just to remove the special bind once we can actually get that special bind removal. And he works very, very nicely for that. Now, as I mentioned, we do have a bunch of barrier pen here with our Shanks, which is great. So Shanks can take out at least one of those enemies. And if you get lucky with like your regular orb roll, because Shanks increases the chances of landing on quick, you should be able to take out at least one other. Now, I actually got lucky with a Psy orb, so I just took out the character with the Psy. But you can obviously use Shanks' barrier pen to take that unit out and then rely on the quick orbs for the other 2. So this is a good place to stall as well. Stall an extra turn on one of those lackeys, and then the turtle only has 4 HP, so you're going to kill him no matter what. But just make sure that you stall 1 turn there so you can actually get your specials ready to go for these next particular stages. The next couple of stages get a little bit challenging, and you do want to try and get around all of the nasty effects that are applied. So we get binded on the right-hand side. Again, this is why the Straw Hats are so good, because you have the special bind. You can't really activate Uta's special, because she gets binded just like she gets binded to spared in the previous raid as well. So we are going to try and take out as many units as we can here. If you get a tandem orb on Uta or Shanks, obviously you're going to do a lot more damage as well, but don't stress, there's a lot of like cooldowns available for you guys here as well. So once we do get to once we do get the cooldowns of what's his name, Donjin Zhao, we're going to be in good stead to remove the rest of the special bind anyway. But unfortunately for us, we just like well, not unfortunately for us, but we just sort of utilize the natural cooldowns that Bluno can provide as well. Now, you can actually just wipe him right there because you would have had the cooldowns for Donjin Zhao anyway. But like I said, you have the cooldowns there. Now, with Uta getting her 5+, she does become a much better character. However, nevertheless, whether you have her 5+ or 5-star and you want to try this team for shits and giggles, she's going to work fine as well. So, very nice to see that they actually did that, but I do think they need to implement more free-to-play characters rather than just give us one crazy good free-to-play unit. On the Jabra and Lucci, Kaku, and what's her name? Khalifa stage, we're going to use our Donjin Zhao special here. That's going to remove the rest of the special bind. It's going to give us a chain boost as well. And then we can use Shanks to give us a full board of tandem and quick orbs. Once again, we can lock those orbs thanks to the Perispero special. And Perispero is also going to do end of turn damage as well as give us a chain lock. So we're not really relying on the chain boost here, we're just relying on the chain lock, and then with the super tandem we can easily take out all 4 of these units. Now with the whale shark ship, it's easy to hit perfects, and the special of the sea monster is going to give us an orb buff once we move into the final stage against Spandam. he is going to give us 3 turns of paralysis, a 50% HP cut, and puts up 3 turns of damage reduction. But once again, this is where Orobi is so damn good. Now, you could use Gukimaru, but if you use Gukimaru, you have to pretty much find a way to bring a support that can remove Blind and Despair. So just be mindful of that if you are doing that. But as you guys can see with the Super Tandem of Shanks on this particular stage, we don't even have an attack buff. We literally just have the Chain Lock and the Orb Boost, and we can easily decimate our boy Spandam there. On the Revive, we can remove the Gloom thanks to Uta. Once you use Uta Special, you get a Chain Boost, but you can't get the defense down, which is kind of annoying. So all we're relying on here is the Chain Boost and the Super Tandem of Shanks to kill on the Revive. And funny enough, we had so much damage thanks to his Super Tandem. That was just an easy peasy win. So there you guys go. That was the Marco, the Shanks, and the free-to-play team taking on the CP-9 Raid and the Invasion. I hope you guys enjoyed this one. If you did, make sure to go down and belt the like button for me. Let me know what content you guys want to see in the next episode. Most importantly, though, wherever you are in this beautiful world, please remember to enjoy the rest of your day. Hit the subscribe button, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Lates!